Hello again. One of the two contenders for the leadership of the Conservative Party is making a lot of the fact that he is calling for this country to withdraw from the European Convention on Human Rights. Robert Jenrick claims that such a move would prevent many people from abusing the asylum system in Britain. He's referring, of course, to cases like that of Fatma Blatter, an Albanian who claimed asylum here in 1998 by pretending to be from Kosovo. He was granted a British passport in 2017, and then it came out that not only had he lied about being from Kosovo, but he had actually been convicted of murder in Albania and lied his head off on all aspects of his case in order to get British citizenship. An attempt to deport him to Albania failed because he claimed that this would be a breach of his human rights under the European Convention on Human Rights. Article 6 guarantees everybody the right to a fair trial, and it was decided by a British court that it was unlikely to get that in Albania. Shocking, eh? No wonder Robert Jenrick is campaigning for us to leave the ECHR. The only problem is that it would not make the slightest bit of difference to anybody in Britain if we did withdraw from the European Convention on Human Rights. Literally no difference to anybody in this country or to the situation we are currently in. Not a slightest bit of difference. Let me explain why. Article 6 of the Convention, the one that the Albanian killer relied upon to avoid being deported, begins as follows. In the determination of his civil rights and obligations or of any criminal charge against him, everyone is entitled to a fair and public hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial tribunal established by law. Judgment shall be pronounced publicly, but the press and public may be excluded from all or part of the trial in the interest of morals, public order, or national security in a democratic society. Now let me quote British law. In the determination of his civil rights and obligations of any criminal charges against him, everyone is entitled to a fair and public hearing within a reasonable time by an independent and impartial tribunal established by law. Judgment shall be pronounced publicly, but the press and public may be excluded from all or part of the trial in the interest of morals, public order, or national security in a democratic society. Spooky or what? British law is absolutely identical to the European Convention on Human Rights. How is this possible? Very simply. The British law I read out is Article 6 from the 1998 Human Rights Act. It simply cut and pasted the ECHR and made it into a new law in this country. It even provided that the courts in Britain must, when interpreting the 1998 Human Rights Act, abide by rulings of the European Court of Human Rights at Strasbourg. In short, every single provision of the European Convention of Human Rights is part of British law. And even if we withdrew from the ECHR tomorrow, Britain is legally obliged to abide by every single part of the Convention and to follow any precedent set by the European Court. All the debate about withdrawing from the ECHR is a lot of nonsense. It's a sideshow which makes not a scrap of difference to what happens in this country or would happen if we withdrew from the European Convention on Human Rights. Robert Jenrick knows this. I know it. And now viewers of this channel also know it. In the description to this video I provide links to the text of the various legislation, and also a link to a news item about the case of that Albanian about whom I spoke.